another drawing of vicious circle of poverty, which is another explanation given about poverty in a different direction. Okay, so let's just rub this. So you see another way where we can define vicious circle of poverty. So as I said also, now this is one more chart of cycle of vicious circle of poverty. So here again we start with low income, that brings inadequate calorie intake. So calorie is very less, and that is why there is no zeal to work. So there is a deterioration in health. Okay, and hence it brings you low productivity. Okay, and then obviously because of low productivity there is low wages, earnings, and hence low income. So any of the two ways, you can use it as a vicious circle of poverty, but ultimately it's the low income which is the major problem of poverty. Okay, so now we must see something called as poverty head count ratio versus poverty gap ratio. Okay, so we will first talk about poverty head count ratio. Okay, so just let me clear this. Okay, so the first one we will talk about is poverty poverty head count ratio. Okay, so the poverty head count ratio, so let me just start from it, measures the proportion of population whose per capita income or consumption expenditure is below the official poverty line. Now in simple terms, let me explain you. It measures the total number of people living below the poverty line. Okay, so as I said, it means the proportion of population whose per capita income or consumption expenditure is below the official poverty line. So this is economically I'm explaining you, but in simple word it means it measures the total number of people who are living below the poverty line. Is as that simple. Okay, now let me tell you what is the current ratio and how it is being counted. So just let me clear this. Okay, so the number of people living below poverty line has decreased from 74.5 million in the year 1993-94 to 52.8 million in the year 2011 and 12. Okay. Now head count ratio is a simpler measure and it is widely used to find out the cutoff point below which people are considered to be poor. So it is more practical and more famous. Okay. So it's mostly used because it's much simpler. And head count ratio, let me write down this also. So head count ratio does not reflect the severity of poverty. Okay, so we cannot understand exactly how poor are Indians, we cannot see the severity. So it's just a simple measurement which is just telling you that how much we are going to count the ratio to find out how many people are below the poverty line. Now let us talk about the poverty gap ratio. Okay, so just let me clear this. Yes, so the poverty gap ratio. Okay, so it is the gap by which mean consumption, so these are all the definitions which will come in your exams, of the poor below poverty line falls short of the poverty line. I again repeat, so it is a gap by which, mean consumption. So what is mean consumption? I'll tell you, of the poor. So the actual consumption below poverty line falls short of the exact poverty line. So it indicates what exactly is the quantity of the poverty. So the depth. So the depth of poverty. Okay. So how is it done? The more is the PGR ratio, the worse is the condition. So the worse is the condition of the poor. Okay. So while the number of people indicates the spread of poverty, PGR indicates the depth. So that is why the more the PGR ratio, the worse is the condition of the poverty or the poor. Okay, now let me explain you with the help of some statistics. Okay, now during 2004 and 5 to 2011-12, PGR also reduced in both rural and urban areas. Okay, so while the rural PGR declined from 9.64 in 2004-5 to 5.05 in 2011-12. In urban areas also there was a drastic change. It declined from 6.08 to 2.07 during the same period. Okay, so that is a nearly, if you can see, is a 50% decline in the PGR ratio both in the rural and in the urban areas during 2004-5 to 2011-12. Okay, so that reflects that the conditions of the poor have improved both in the urban and the rural area. So this is it's an important tool to understand the depth of poverty in India. Okay, so now The poverty gap index can be found as the average percentage. So we need to find the average percentage shortfall. So the average percentage of shortfall in income. So if there is an average percentage of shortfall in income of the population from the poverty line. So this way it is being basically found out. Okay. So what did I say? Let me repeat. So the poverty gap index can be found out by finding the the average percentage shortfall in the income of the population from the poverty line. Okay. So let me continue. Okay. So a higher poverty gap index means that poverty is more severe. Okay, so this you have to remember. Okay, so if there is a higher poverty gap index, it means that the poverty is more severe. And yes, I will write something else also. The poverty gap index can be found out as the average, so this is very important, percentage shortfall in income for the population from the poverty line. So this is very important. Okay, now we will come to the next segment of poverty, that is called as absolute and relative poverty. Okay, so just let me clearly rub this, and we will understand the term of absolute and relative. So we will first understand what is absolute versus the relative poverty. Okay, so let me write down here: absolute versus relative poverty. Okay, so absolute poverty is when we consider every poor person as equal. Okay, so it is sometimes now the general definition of poverty which is valid at all times. So this is basically more familiar, and absolute poverty has been used as a definition, okay, which is valid at all times. Okay, and for all economies you can use absolute poverty for all countries, and that is why it is called as absolute. Now what does it mean? So this is an approach. Okay, it's an absolute poverty approach, considers a poor in India as equal to a poor in the USA. So it is basically, it considers, the approach is such that the poor in India is equal to the poor in the USA. So this is the simplest definition of being poor, and it has been unable to substance that how we can't survive, and how poor are becoming poor, and what are the basic reasons of becoming poor. That is when you are unable to eat, drink, and when you don't have shelter, when you don't have clothing, that is called as food, clothing and shelter. So this is a common monetary measure of poverty, of absolute poverty, and which is like, generally they say that if it is less than $1 in 2008, that means you are in absolute poverty condition. So you must earn above $1, that is something around about right now 80 rupees or 60 rupees, 65, 75, something like that. Okay, so the World Bank has said that, if a person is earning $1.25, okay, and now it is being increased to $1.90, okay. So if you are not earning, and if your earnings are below 1.90 per dollar per day, then you are in the condition of absolute poverty. Okay, so now let us talk about is relative poverty. Okay, so relative poverty. Okay,